And here we go. Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Rise, and I am here with our weekly production for the Business and Entrepreneurial Project. And today's guest, we are going to have Miss Barbara Carr. But before we get into Barbara's awesome presentation on marketing, I want to be sure to give you, first of all, our disclaimer. So our statement is that although each speaker here has been doing what they do for many years, some have designations and/or degrees and experience in their respective fields. Your attendance confirms that you will not hold us liable in any way for the risk, danger, injury, or damages caused to you and/or the success or failure of your business or any other topic of discussion during these meetings. So,
welcome to the B Project. Today's topic is on sales, the thing that probably many of you despise, but our expert speaker today is going to help to ease your mind. Today we have Evita Malkimos speaking, and you are in for a treat with this information. She was born and raised in Northwest Indiana and graduated from Maryville High School in 1999. After graduation, Evita began working at a local independent insurance agency and attended Purdue University Northwest. She quickly recognized that she had a passion in the insurance field, helping others to protect their most valuable assets. After some time, she spent a few years at Farmers Insurance Northern Indiana District Office as a district support specialist. That's a mouthful. She helped with training for new agents with different products such as commercial and life insurance. Now, today, she is loving her role as an insurance producer for the Chicago City offices of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Chicago. Evita lives in Northwest Indiana with her husband, Michael, and her 5 children who range from 19 years of age to 1 year old. She runs on coffee and loves God, her family, and people. Man, Evita, I feel like I was reading about myself there at the end. You and I have so much in common, other than the fact that you are awesome with numbers and sales, and I am not so great at that. That's why I am on this call.
Sure, you are too.
More work to learning. So Evita, go ahead. I know you've got a PowerPoint presentation. Go ahead, take this time to share your screen and then educate us.
All right, let me get my screen up here and hopefully I will do it with no problem. Let's see. All right, can you see it?
Yes.
All right, so I'm calling this Keys to Sales Success. Now I'm sure there's this doesn't touch every point of the sales spectrum, but as many as I could, I tried to include in here. And I just want to have fun with this. So I'm a very lighthearted person. So there's going to be just some funny memes throughout, just to make us kind of laugh as well as we go, okay? All right. So let me, and this is where I always have the problem, Barbara, so I can't see where my arrows are.
You could hit spacebar on your keyboard and that
I see it now. Once I clicked on the mouse, I see my arrows. Okay, here we go. Are you sure you're ready for sales? So right here, this is somebody so innocent coming into the sales world, and they're just like, yes, I'm ready to sell, and they look so cute, just like that little Care Bear, and then about a month into it, they look like that other creature right there. And I don't even know what that's from. Is that like a gremlin or what was that from? I don't know.
Not sure, but that is funny. I'm telling you, that's how I feel after I try to make a sale.
Right. And matter of fact, if you're a mother out there, it should be like before motherhood picture, after motherhood. Same thing. Same thing with sales, guys. It is your baby and it's gonna take something out of you. But is it fun? Absolutely. I love it. And if you are in sales, you just got to have that sales mindset. But if you are in it and you love it, you are in the right field. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the traits of a good salesperson, right? It's like the DNA that is like instinctively inside everybody who loves sales. I know Angela's on the call, and Angela, I remember when I was applying for some other positions, and you'll probably remember this, that I had to take an acumen, remember?
Yes, and I do.
And I was so nervous about it. And what it was trying to do is find my salesperson ability inside of me. And you're supposed to just kind of click whatever just comes to you first and not think about it, right? Well, I didn't do that because I wanted to overthink everything. And I probably shot myself in the foot because I was overthinking, and the things that they were really looking for, I thought, and I didn't learn this till afterwards, some of these traits here of how I originally felt to answer the question. I thought, oh no, they want somebody maybe more serious, or somebody more, I don't know, just different things I was thinking. And so I overthought it and I messed myself up on that test. However, it all worked out. God's plan was done in my life. But these are some traits. And so when people are in human resources and in the sales field and they're looking for people, these are some of the traits of the top salespeople. And that doesn't mean that you have to have all of these traits, but you know, if you're good in sales, you're probably going to have some of these, right? So just want to start, and there's a whole list. I didn't put all of them. I do have it saved on a Word document, so I can give that to Angela, and anybody requests it, we can send that over to them. But here's one of them. Top trait, ability to listen. A good salesperson needs to satisfy a client's needs. The only way to find out what those are is by listening to what each prospect is saying, and the best salespeople aren't always talking. Now, I do love to talk, I'll be honest. So, but a really good tip is just to stop and just hear out your person. You got to know what they're looking for and what they want. So you just got to have that good listening skills. Number two, which I feel like this was totally me, empathy. A good salesperson knows how to feel what their customers feel. By getting inside the prospect's skin, they know just how to sell a product or service. Empathy is a great way to anticipate what a customer wants. So just always just, you know, understanding them, feeling what they're feeling, and just, you know, agreeing like, okay, yeah, you know, as they're talking. Having that hunger, you know, you got to have a burden, you got to have a drive, you know, just wanting a hunger to get to that top level, wanting to have a hunger to get more sales. That I feel like it's just instinctively inside of me, just that hunger, just like wanting more and never satisfied. That's a really good trait in salespeople. Okay, and here's my other meme. I don't know who you are, but my sales target needs to be hit. So number 4, competitiveness. Okay, so this is one I struggled with all my life, right? I thought that I just was not, there was something wrong with me, right? You know, play a board game with me and you'll never want to play a board game with me again, right? Everybody who knows me knows that they don't want to play games with me because I'm very competitive. But come to find out, it's great for sales, right? Having that competitiveness, just wanting to push, wanting to go further, and just saying, you know what, I want to win, right? and not going overboard, right? I don't do anything crazy. I do good. Well, I get a little crazy. Okay, so number 5. Networking ability. This is just so important. And Barbara, you're probably wonderful at this because of marketing, but just, you know, not feeling shy, just knowing, you know, who to go up to, find those points of contact, find the people in your community, find those that will work hand in hand with the services and the products that you have that you need to connect with. Having that ability to talk to other people, to, hey, let's meet up for lunch, or hey, let's do this. Those are great traits to have. Number 6, confidence. Even if you feel you don't have confidence, fake it till you make it. That's what I'll say. You go in front with confidence. You know, your customer is going to only believe in you to the matter that you believe in yourself, right? You don't want to go to somebody all timid, your head down, shaking, and talking about what a great product you have. You got to come like confident. You got to come like, hey, you need this. This is what I have. So those are some great traits. There's more, but there was 2 more that too many that I didn't want to put on this slide. Okay, this is my ultimate favorite, one of my favorite quotes that I actually had when I had my own farmers insurance agency. On my positioning statement, that, you know, something about my agency I would give my clients. This was my top quote that I had on it because I believe this with all of my heart. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is so true. That is so true. So everybody has a different style, right? My style is I love people. And I really feel like you cannot be in sales if you don't like people. If you do not like people, please just find a different find a different occupation, find a different road to go down, because you really got to like people. You really got to enjoy being around people. You really got to enjoy, you know, being in people's presence and having that remember that characteristic, that empathy. So, you know, whether it was making the deal or not, I truly did care for the people that came in. And so that's something that people will, they can see through, right? I feel like children, you know, no matter what you try to say, like, oh, we're all out of candy, they know you're not. They can see through that. And it's the same thing like customers, they see through, you know, that sleazy salesman mentality that is very easily attached with people in sales, right? But I say drop all that at the door, be who you are, be genuine, and truly care about people, and you will see sales increase. People need to like you to buy from you. If they don't like you, they will not buy from you. Like, just forget about it. Just forget about it. Walk away. They don't like you. You're not selling a thing. You start the closing the moment you say hello. See, a lot of people think the closing is like, oh, I got to wait till I get to the end of my presentation. No, the closing starts the moment you open your mouth. The moment you say, hi, how are you? My name is Evita, and what's your name? That's when the closing actually starts. Because people, those first, what is it they say, the first 2-3 seconds, people already have a judgment. Okay, this person is likable. Okay, this person, I don't know, there's something a little shady with them or whatever. They're going to judge in those first few seconds. So, you know, really just come off strong and have that genuineness there. Take immediate control. Be confident. Remember, I said that word confident. Be the confident, trusted advisor. Remember, you're the professional. Whatever you're selling, you're the professional. Let's say you go to the doctor's office and you come in and the doctor looks all nervous and he's like, well, you know, I don't know. I think you may have an infection, but what do you think? Do you know? You're going to run out of that doctor's office like, you are not giving me anything. He's supposed to be the professional. You go in that appointment like you know your stuff. You go in that appointment with that confidence, that poise. And you know, I've always had, and I think everybody in sales probably does, had those customers that come back and, well, no, I don't think I need that. This is what this is what I need. And I think blah, blah, blah. And I remind them, I say, excuse me, you came to me because I'm a professional in this field. And I'm giving you my advice off of what I know and my expertise. And I turn the tables because, you know, they try to, and it's not because I'm trying to upsell or I'm trying, no, this is really, this is what you need. And then I begin to explain it to them. So they got to know you're the professional. Build the rapport, get to know them, and find out anything you can about them. Something that maybe you guys might have in common. Hey, you went to that school. I went to Maryville High School. What year? Oh my goodness. You know, hey, you know, you used to live in that state. So did I. Talk about whatever. You have kids. Great. Oh my goodness. Yes, mine are driving me nuts too. You know, whatever. Get on that level with them. Find that connection that you can have with them, and you will build a customer. And the first one, this is really important. Okay, well, I skipped a line. Enthusiasm, benefits, and urgency. Those are the 3 key ingredients to any sale. You had to have that enthusiasm. Don't come droopy, drowsy, and boring. And you got to explain the benefits of why your customer needs something, and you've got to create a sense of urgency. People like to drag. People like to say, I don't know, let me think about it, right? No. Create a sense of urgency. Hey, this quote is only good for so many days, so let's go ahead and let's get you going here. What do you think is better, right? Create that sense of urgency. And in that first 1 or 2 minutes of your conversation, you need to make them laugh. When you can get somebody to laugh, number 1, barriers, walls will come down. And you now become more likable to that person. You get them on your side. You got to become memorable to your people. Memorable, because even if you don't win this sale, because it's going to happen, you know, even the greatest salesperson will not win every sale. But if you become memorable to that person, then later down the road, if they need your service again, or if they know somebody that needs your service, you will be the person that they come to. Your attitude becomes your customer's attitude. Your attitude means everything. Have the best demeanor, the best attitude, and your customers are going to feel the same way. Number 1 ingredient to selling is enthusiasm. Today I talked to one of the top sales people in my company, I reached out to her because I think it's very good to network. I think it's very good to never say we've arrived or we know everything. It's great to learn off of others. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I reached out to her, and this girl is the most bubbliest, like, hello, you know, like, she's just said, I told her, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, you just got such a great personality. She's like, I tried to, you know. But I mean, if anybody has enthusiasm, this girl had it. So, and no wonder why she's one of the top salespeople, because she has that enthusiasm. Lastly, in this section, be a human being. Your smile is your logo. Your smile. And that's whether, you know, I know now because of COVID-19, you may not be face to face all the time, but over the phone, people could tell if you have that smile, if you're talking with that smile. That is your ultimate logo, which I know, Barbara, you may not agree in marketing, all right? And then I love the meme here when that customer makes a lame joke, but you need to hit bonus. That, that had me cracking up. I don't know. Maybe nobody thinks it's funny. I think it's all right, let's go to the next slide. If I could get my mouse to work. Here we go. Okay, selling that tangible versus intangible product, right? And then Angela, you can't see all my names, but this has what's his name? Drew Carey, or not Drew Carey. Oh my goodness, what is his name?
Yeah, you're right, Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey. I said Drew Carey. I'm like, no, that's not Jim.
Okay.
It is Jim Carrey's head out the car window when I hear someone talking about the product I sell. It looks funny. So anyways, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about that tangible versus that intangible. Hold on real quick. This is in my way of seeing everything. Okay, here we go. So tangible, we all know what that is, right? We see it, we feel it, we touch it, we know what it is, right? The advantage of having a tangible product is that people understand it, right? You sell a car, they understand what a car does. You sell a toothbrush, brushes your teeth. You sell shoes, okay? That's gonna help. People understand the tangible, right? We see, we feel, we touch, we know what that is. Now, the intangible, that's where you gotta go in a little bit more depth to understand. You're going to need to give descriptive stories of people who needed this service and the value that it brings, okay? Sometimes people may not understand it. Sometimes it's not as quick to click in their heads about, man, why do I really need this? Because they can't see it, feel it, or touch it. But I really highlighted this because this is really important. Nobody buys products. They buy solutions to problems. So whether it's tangible or intangible, guess what? Both products, we are selling that intangible value of what they can do, right? So that's really the key component when you're selling. You're selling based on the solution that it brings to the person, right? So either tangible or intangible, you want to gather as much information. Remember, going back to the trait, you need to listen very well to what the customer needs and what they're looking for. Let's give some examples. The tangible, you use the power of the presence of that product and exemplify its benefits, right? You know, when you see that car, the car that this customer has been, you know, wanting forever, dreaming of for years, that car is going to speak for itself. The shiny new rims, maybe the leather seats, I mean, that is going to do a lot of your selling for you. However, you still need to listen to what that customer needs. And you need to then talk about the value that this tangible product is. So for this car, talk about, you know, hey, if it's somebody that has children, that, you know, what's important to them, safety of the vehicle, reliable transportation, talk about that. Talk about, you know, these cars, you know, they last for, you know, over, I don't know, I'm not good with cars, over 300,000 miles, you know, they last for, and they're known to, you know, to be a car that, you know, you can have for the next 15 years, you know, for your family. Talk about that. Talk about how it's reliable. Talk about the safety features. Talk about the comfort of the car. Talk about the brand. Some people come, maybe they're young, maybe they're in business, and they're looking for, you know, something when they take their clients around that they need a nice car. So they're looking for the brand. They're looking for prestige of that car. So you want to talk about that. You want to know what your customer is looking for, and you want to hit the nail on the head of what they're needing. Okay, you got to bring that value out. Now, when we talk about the intangible, same thing. You're going to use the power of stories and how that product brought a value or a solution to someone who was in their same situation. Tell the unique selling points of your product. Tell about why this is better than them going down the street to get it from another competitor. What makes you different? And you really need to expound on that and explain. And that's going to be your key component of keeping customers and from going to competitors. You got to differentiate yourself from them. No matter tangible or intangible, tell that intangible value of using your company or your product over the others. Okay, it's very important. All right, so I'm going to go to our next slide here. And this is called Your Words Have Power. And so you're going to talk about different things of how you set up a sale, different ways you want to word yourself, you want to say things. And it's very important because in selling, there's a lot of psychology that's in this. There's a lot of just, you know, subtle things that you say, and not to be sly or not to be deceptive. We're not trying to be that way at all, but it's trying to highlight on why they should go with you, right? I love my meme here. This is another one that made me crack up. When they say they'll find a cheaper deal elsewhere, but they can't. And it's, and Angela, you can't see, it's a little kid with that coffee mug that's giving that smug look like.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one, you want to stress, once again, that sense of urgency in the sale. Give them a reason to act now. The longer they think about it, the less likely you are to sell it. So here's an example, you know, every day you're going to work, and on your way to work, there's a store that you really like been dying to go to. So for me, I love like home goods stores. I love going into like Hobby Lobby. I love, you know, any type of store like that. I just love it. And so this actually really happened to me a few weeks ago. That Tuesday Morning store was going out of business, and I kept seeing the sign saying going out of business sale. I'm like, oh, I got to get in there, right? I want to see like what they have. And every time I went, it was like 5 minutes before closing. I'm like, oh my goodness, and there's already somebody at the door closing it. But this is an example of creating a sense of urgency. So every day you pass this store, let's say day one, you say, wow, here's a sale. Man, I really want to get to that, but I'm not going to work, so I'll get to it later. Day two, you see the same sign, and you think, man, I really want to get to that sale. I know there's stuff in there that I'm going to need. Okay, let me get to it later. I'm on my way to work. Day three, you see now a sign outside that says sale ends today at 10 a.m. and you're on your way to work. What do? You go into that parking lot, you stop your car, and you run in real quick. Why? Now they created that sense of urgency. Now it took away your excuse. Now it was like, man, if I'm going to get that sale, if I'm going to get that product, I have to do it now. And that's how it is when you're with customers. You got to create that sense of urgency, a reason that they need to jump on it now, a reason that they need to proceed with the sale. Number two, assume the sale. You know, for example, if you're a real estate agent, you're showing houses. Okay, well, here's your condo. Let's go in. So when you get here, this is how you're gonna come in the door every day. You're gonna do that. So talk to them like it's already theirs. You got to already have that communication. This is yours. It's very important when you're in sales in the words, how you frame your words, what you say, because it's psychologically it's going into them. They start thinking, yeah, this is mine. This is what I want. They begin to think that way. So you got to speak it first, right? Always say your customer's name over and over again. It's so important. And, you know, I never really thought about this before. I was really listening to a lot of different teachings on sales, and the sweetest sound to anyone's ear is to hear their name. You can never say their name too many times. It will increase your sales. Every time you say their name, you're getting closer, you're bonding, and you're getting their attention. It is human nature to listen when someone says your name. If you, for example, let's just say, John, can we get you started on this right away? What looks better to you, John? Is it option, 1, 2, or the 3-year option? And here's another thing, writing on, always saying their name. When I gave that option, so John, what sounds better to you? Is it option 1, 2, or 3? You always want to give the option that you want them to choose as that last option. It's just something in psychology. It proves that people tend to pick the last option given to them. I do this all the time. When I set up my follow-up appointments, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I got this appointment, this appointment. I'll give them 2 options that I can do, but the one that I prefer, I always say last. Okay, do you want to meet tomorrow? Can we meet at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m.? The 4 p.m. is what I want, so I'm going to say that one last because they're going to choose that one. So just some little tips that you can use with your clients. You always ask yes questions, right? So example, that's pretty nice, right? Hey, you know what? This is what we can do for you. And when you come with this plan, it also comes with this additional blah, blah, blah. Isn't that great? Yes. You're always wanting, the more times that they say yes to you is getting into their mind yes to the sale. So you want to get your customer, just say, open-ended questions that are going to result in yes. I hope you enjoy this presentation. Yes. I hope, is this a good time for you? Yes. Get them to say yes. Always use the words right now. Create that subliminal approach for that urgency. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over this proposal. Right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the next step of this. Right now, I want to draw your attention. Use right now. Use those words, because by framing your lips to say these things, you are positioning your sale and you're helping the mind and the influence of your customers to get that sale. All right, so let's go to the next slide here. And now we're going to talk about your products. So let me put this here to the side. Here's this one had me cracking up too, but I'll leave that alone. Your products. You want to be the expert on your product. You need to study, you need to learn every feature, every function. You need to know why it does what it does, and you need to study because you always want to be ready when your customer comes with that question. Always continue educating yourself by taking training, advancing your knowledge in your company or your industry. Hey, if you're, I'm in insurance. If you're insurance, go to get a higher, designation, behind your name. Go for higher learning. Take additional CE, continuing education courses just to learn. Take the training that's provided by the different carriers that maybe you have. And it's the same thing in any field. Find in your industry. In addition, I put here, top sales leaders also broaden their knowledge on related topics by subscribing. Subscribe to news articles, subscribe to different magazines. I'm subscribed to like the Insurance Journal because I want to know what's going on in my industry. Sorry about that, guys. I want to know what's going on in my industry. And the same thing for you. Whatever industry you're in, you want to make sure you're the top in that and you understand what's going on. If one product doesn't fit the customer's needs, align them to another product and why it will work. Highlight your knowledge in this time. Somebody may come to you and say, hey, this is what I want. But as you're listening to them and as being that professional that you are, you're in your mind, you're saying, okay, but this is not what you need. This is not going to do what you're wanting. This is not going to fit you the way you think it is. Here, let me offer this. And at that time, that's where you're really going to expound and you're going to share that knowledge. They're going to see why you're that professional, why you know what you're doing and why they need to buy from you. This is a really good one. Qualify your products. Don't waste time on those who don't see the benefits or wasting time on prospects who never reach a decision is worse than losing to the competition. Now hear that out. Wasting time on prospects who never reach a decision is worse than losing to the competition. Now, of course, there's going to be times of follow-up. Now, everybody may not come to a decision right away, but if somebody is just kind of playing you along and being very vague, then you got to kind of notice that. And also, not everybody is your customer. Not everybody. You have a product and your product may not fit. And this really goes really good with what you were saying, Barbara, last week. There is an avatar. Everybody has an aim. Everybody has a target for who their client is. And we've got to realize not everybody may be your client. Maybe some people are just shopping off a price. Maybe some people are shopping off of a different type of quality than what your quality is. Don't waste your time with people that don't fall in alignment with who your client should be. Okay, so I just wanted to really, because that's one of the top flaws sometimes of salespeople is they can waste their time on the wrong people when they could be selling. All right, next slide. Follow up. This is so important, sales, extremely important. So here's some statistics, right? 48% of salespeople never follow up. So that's meaning they do the first sale, they tried to do the first presentation, the person didn't take it, and maybe they felt intimidated by it. Maybe they're just like, okay, I bombed it. That's it. I'm not going to contact them. That is a huge mistake, huge. So 48% of people never follow up. That's almost half. 25% make a second contact and then they stop right there. 12% make 3 contacts and then they stop. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So that 25% that did the second contact, there's only a 2% chance that they're going to close. 3% of sales are made on that second okay, so here it is. So that second contact, they had a 3% chance of closing. 5% of sales are made on that third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth. And here we go, guys. This is a big whopper number. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So what do I say to that? Never give up, right? Now, I know I just said the previous frame, you know, don't waste your time with people who really don't fall in line with who your customer should be. But if they fall in line and you know there's still, well, let me think about it, and they're really kind of deciding there, you need to stay on this. And you need to go from anywhere from 5 to 12 contacts. And I can testify to this because I closed some deals today that literally we were going back and forth, and it's really important to have that follow-up and that persistency to stay with it, because at the end you will get that sale. All right, so let's go to my next slide here. So here's some closing techniques. Top closers, they always enter the appointments in their calendar so they don't forget an appointment, number 1. So when you're on the phone, you're doing a presentation, and you know you want to come to a close, and they're still not, you know, they still haven't decided. Say, okay, well, here's some time. Think about this. You know, what day works for you? Remember, you're going to give them those 2 options, but the last option is what you really want. You're going to put that in your calendar. There's no way you could be effective at sales if you are not organized. And I will say this, I'm not the most organized person, but I do know that I absolutely have to use my Outlook. I mean, I'm constantly putting in who I'm meeting with at what time, because if I did not do that, I would be a mess and I would probably be missing half of my sales. So that's very important. You got to be organized. Improve your closing instincts. Know when to close. This is so important. Don't oversell. There are some people that will oversell and they will talk the client probably out of the sale. When the presentation is going well and the buyer is giving those signals, the yes signals, they're saying yes, you know, isn't this great? Yes, yes, they're giving you all the signals. You literally need to stop. You need to stop and say, well, great. Well, this is what we need to do now to proceed, you know, to finish this. All I need is to send you over this proposal. You just need to DocuSign here and there. Bam. Don't keep going. Don't keep, and then here's this feature and this feature. You will oversell it, and that's not a good thing. So you got to listen to those buyer signals. Listen to what they're saying. You know, that's happened to me earlier this week. I told this lady, I'm like, man, you're one of my easiest customers. It was yesterday, and she was just like, yep, this is great. And I was listening to the signals she was giving me. So she's telling me, yes, this is great. All right, man, this is an easy process. All of those are signals. She's telling me she's ready to buy. So I didn't keep going. There was a few more things I could have said, but I said, okay, well, great. I'm so glad you're happy. This is what we need to do next to finalize. That's all you need to do. After selling, ask what they like best about the product. You want to hear, remember, we want to know the mind of our customer. We need to know what they're looking for so that we can provide the value, you know, based on what they're looking for. So, you know, after you're done selling, maybe if you can't read your customer, you're trying to figure them out, a good way and to have an open-ended question is just like, hey, so what did you think about all this that I just presented to you? What did you like best about the product? What did you like best about what I presented? Listen carefully to what they say. Another thing is schedule follow-ups immediately after the presentation. Don't hang up the phone. Don't walk out of that meeting. You gotta schedule it immediately. I already kind of went over this fact. The 2 options, last one's what you want to give. Build value, and once again, you want to stress the benefits. segue to the pricing and how much it costs after that. You first want to build up the value. You want to build up the benefits before you're like, bam, here's the price, right? Because if somebody sees the price and maybe they feel it's too high. However, if you stress and you went over the values and you went over the benefits, I guarantee you that that price won't look bad to them if they really believe in that value and they see the benefits in it. You know, look all around. You can see somebody that may be struggling to get by, but they will be wearing a pair of Air Jordans. Why? They saw the value. There was something in those pair of shoes. They saw the value and they were willing to pay the price of that because they wanted the value it brought. So that's how much more your product should be too. You need to stress what it can do for them and the value. Ask if they have any questions. And if not, then say, excellent. Now, to get you started, all I will need it to do is get the agreement prepared. You know, some people are like, okay, when you're done, it's kind of like that, you know, that awkward silence. You're like, what do I do now? Just say, do you have any questions? No, I think you explained it pretty good. Excellent. Well, to get you started, all I need to do is get this agreement prepared. You're laying it out there. And you know what? I'll tell you this, sometimes you just got to do that first leap of faith, you know, because when I started sales, I was a little intimidated to do that. I'm like, oh no, but what if they say this? What if they say this? You know, do it. You go. You pull that trigger and you say it. And then if they come back with stuff, then you need to have your arsenal filled up already with your objectives of what they're going to say. Oh, but the price. Oh, but let me remind you. You always got to reroute them back. But let me remind you of the value it can bring. Let me remind you, remember in the beginning of our conversation, you said that you were looking for this. Let me remind you that this will fulfill that need that you're looking for. Always reroute them back to what they were looking for and what their desire was. So also in closing, whether on the phone or on email, ask for referrals. Oh my goodness, this is just free business out there for you. Now, I'm going to be honest. I had a hard time. I'm like, I don't want to ask for referrals. I feel desperate. I feel, you know, whatever. But there's ways to do it. So, you know, everybody has a different selling style. I'm not a hard closer. I'm not like, yeah, you know, I'm not a demanding person. I don't work that way. Though, and everybody can ask for referrals, whatever feels best for you. What really works best for me is I do a closing email. A lot of my work is not in person. So it's a lot is over phone and through emails. I do a closing email. I thank them for their business. I do a thank you card. And then in that, I say, hey, and because you really want, you want to highlight on referrals when they're happy. You know, they're happiest when they close the deal. They're feeling great with you. That's going to be the time you want to transition. Hey, by the way, if you know anybody, if you have any friends or family members that I can take care of, just like I took care of you, please let me know. That is the greatest compliment you can give me, is if there's any referrals. And, you know, I've even said that to people thinking like, okay, yeah, right. You know, they're going to think of me. And they really have. Last week, I got a referral from a past customer. And no, actually I would say 3. I got 3 referrals last week and I was so elated. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, and that really does, it speaks volumes that these people really, they trusted you so much and they enjoyed the experience so much that they're willing to share it with other people. And it's the same thing, if you go somewhere, how much willing, I mean, I know as women, we tell, oh my goodness, you got to go here. There's a sale. There's this, you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday who bought a car and was telling me what a great job the car salesman did and how he was telling me about it. So if I ever wanted to go there, that he was so impressed. People talk. People will talk. And like I said, make sure you make yourself memorable. They need to remember you and why you were different. Okay, another thing in here, use third-party closing techniques. Make sure the customer knows how happy other people were, your other customers. There's that FOMO, that fear of missing out, right? The fear of missing out. Oh no, everybody else is doing it. You know, like there'll be, you know, you always see that, the craziest, silliest things. There'll just be a big line. Nobody even knows it before they just go in the line. Like, oh, look at free stuff. They don't even know what it is. You know what I mean? But they'll just do it. So you got to create this. Well, all my other customers were very happy when they went with this selection and started talking about it, talking about the experience, about what all these other people felt. And so they're going to see, wow, you know what? Everybody else is doing this. This is something I need to do. It's that fear of missing out. You got to create that, right? Another thing is, and I think we brushed on this, ask open-ended questions. Whom shall I follow up with? How would you want to proceed? Ask questions that they can really maybe expound a little bit on, and that you can talk more about your product. Simplify. Now, I know we talked about a lot of things, but don't talk too much, and I remember I said don't oversell, but don't make it where the person's head is spinning and they're like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm so confused and I want to walk away from you, right? Don't do that. Simplify it. One thing I really make sure to my customers, because I'm in insurance and we have an in-house insurance, lending, title, real estate. So I'm like, oh my, I probably do this too much, but I make a big push of like, it is so simple. Our process is so streamlined because we're all in-house. It is just so fast with us. And I really create how there's no extra work on them. And don't worry, keep it, you know what? We're going to do all the work for you. You just worry about buying that house. We got it all taken care of. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. I got so much going on. And I'm like, I know, I got you. You want to do that for your clients, create that. I'm going to make it simple for you. They love that. And it makes them more relaxed and they're more open-minded to you. Okay, let's see. Next slide. So just overcoming objections. You're going to get objections. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the best person in sales. I don't care if you're the worst. You will always get objections. And hey, objections are great because it gives you practice and it gets you to really be on your feet and knowing, and just like that meme there, when you get really good at overcoming objections, I used to do when I had just had my son, I was doing in-house or over online, had my headsets on, I worked from home doing life insurance. And it was just like a dialer, and just different people would dial in and for life insurance. And man, this is where I felt like I was like boom, boom, boom in boxing. Like I was ready. Like I was so used to it because I was sitting all day long and I would hear one objection. I'm like, hey, but you remember this, bam, bam. And I really like this, really, I feel like really polished me on those objective skills. So the first thing, overcoming objectives, listen fully to the objection and repeat the concern. Okay, so make sure you're listening and say, okay, I understand. So let me see. You're telling me that you're a little leery of buying this because blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then the next thing you want to do, you don't want to like, that's stupid. No, you don't want to act like that. Or like, I know more than you. Let me tell you, don't come arrogant. Humility. You will win customers. So number one, empathize. Empathize with their concern and why they feel the way they do, okay? So, okay, I understand. No, I understand this, you're feeling that maybe this might be a little bit too much for you and you have 4 kids and you just want to make sure. I totally understand that. Okay, and then now you're going to go to step 3. Show what makes your company unique. Show what makes your product unique. You need to, once again, reroute them. You're always rerouting them. Showing them, okay, I understand that, but let's keep in mind that this is going to overall possibly save you money, because if you do go with this other competitor or this cheaper price product, in the long run, it's probably going to not last and it's going to cost you more money. Let me remind you, I know you're concerned about the safety and you want to save money. This is not only going to save you money, but look at all the safety features we have. And you're going to start building the value, showing them, just polishing up. That little shine is going to come to your product. That's what you want to do. And number 4, if it ultimately comes down to, I just can't do it, I just can't afford, no problem. How about this? You're going to compromise now. Maybe you don't want to do the bundle. Maybe we're just going to do your auto now. Let's just do the home later. We want to make sure that this ultimately is going to work for you in the long run. Hey, do what you have to do. Maybe not do the whole package deal. Do whatever you can, but make that compromise. And ultimately at the end, you're going to not only win a customer, you're going to win a friend, and you're going to win somebody who's going to tell somebody else about you and your services. Okay. We're almost done here. Motivation. I love this quote. Okay, this is another quote I used to have in my email under my signature. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there's footprints on the moon. I love that quote. So what motivates you? This is going to be a big factor in how great you are in sales. If you have great motivation to be number 1, you're going to be number 1, or you're going to start getting there. You're going to see progress, right? So just as, you know, great athletes like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they, of course, the money was good, right? They got paid really good. But I'll tell you what, after a while, they weren't even playing for the money. You know, after maybe 1 or 2 years, you know, the NBA, Michael Jordan didn't need all that money. He was set, but he kept playing because it was the desire to be number one in their field. It was that desire that kept them going. They wanted to be number one. Great salespeople focus on the prize to win, to be the number one. And don't worry about the money, because if your eyes are fixed on that prize, the money will follow. You just do what you're doing. Do all the steps, the techniques we're talking about, and you'll be number one. It's not the hours you put in, but what you put in the hours. It's what you're doing. It's, you know, maybe networking. It's reaching out to your customers, doing the follow-up. Make the most out of your time. Try to see how you can be as efficient as possible in everything that you do. If you think you're worth it, then go and get it. That's by Sylvester Stallone. You got to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, your customer definitely won't believe in you. And everybody's going to see through that, and nobody's going to want to buy from you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that your customer is actually lucky to be talking to you, and that you've got the world's best product. Seriously, you got to put that in your mind. And, you know, even talking about that, you got to start speaking to yourself. I am the best seller. I am going to win this sale. You know, another good thing you could do is your passwords. We all have them with, you know, all the stuff you got to get. Make your passwords. I am a winner. No, and then the number one. I am the top salesperson. One. Do stuff that's going to feed your faith, that's going to feed into you and where you see yourself. Winners hang around with winners. You know, just like I said today, I called that girl because I'm like, man, she has a secret. She has something that maybe I don't know. And I think it's great. I don't think it's copying people or being fake. No, there's some things that I'm better at than somebody else. And there's definitely other things that people are better at than me. But it's great that you can pick and see things that maybe you see in other people that they're using in their sales and their business, and use it, apply it. Make it your own, though. That's the thing. We all have different personalities. We all have different styles. Twist it, turn it, make it your own. So I really encourage that. Hang around people that are successful. Hang around people that have winning mentalities. That's going to wear on you as well. Persevere. Never give up. There was a story of this guy who was digging for gold for years, and he was just tired. He was digging and digging, no gold, no gold, no gold. He sold his land. And the next guy that he sold his land to went ahead and went to go try to dig for gold. And guess what? He was 5 feet away from that gold. Guess what? If he would have given up, he would have gotten that gold. And sometimes we're so tired, like we are beyond tired. Like I just can't even take it, you know, but we're so close. We're so close to being where we want to be, to going to that next step. So just don't give up. And then always look to improve yourself. The sales you didn't make, you know, think about it. I do this all the time. When I don't make a sale, I'm like, what could I have done better? What was it that didn't convince the customer to come with me? What was it? And, you know, even I've gone as far as making my own survey or doing like an email to the customer. Like, I'm so, thank you so much for coming to me and allowing me to look at, you know, possibly doing business with you. I'm sorry that, you know, we couldn't make this, you didn't want to make this, or whatever, I'm saying that word. We didn't make this work out, but could you please let me know anything that I could have done better? Can you know, or even put a little survey on the bottom. How was my customer service in 1 through 10? Or how was this? How was this? Get feedback, see what customers are saying, learn from it, grow from it, and you're only going to get better doing that. This was a really good thing that I really, I seen this years ago, and it's always stuck with me, right? This was the Olympics, and this was Michael Phelps when he was going for the gold. Now, this other guy, I don't know what country he's from or whatever, but the story goes that he was just, you know, talking a mouthful before, like, I'm going to beat him, blah, 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 right? You know, and I'm kind of like that too, like, oh, I got this, you know, you see all this stuff. And when the day came, he was so busy looking at what Phelps was doing that he could not focus on what he was doing. And so I think he came in 4th place. And so I love this because it says winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. And I think this is so important when you are in sales. because I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I will look at our leaderboard and I'll be like, what are they doing? And I'm like, so, you know, if I'm not the number one, or if I'm not where I need to be, and that can really play with your mind, because it tries to get in your psyche, like, man, maybe, you know, I'm not going to make, forget about it. It's good sometimes to look at leaderboard to give you the drive, but don't look at it and don't keep looking at what everybody else is doing, because then you lose focus. Focus on yourself, on your lane, on what you need to do, and put these principles in place, and I guarantee you will rise to the top on those leaderboards. So I believe that was my last slide. If anybody has any questions or anything, please let me know. Let me stop sharing. Okay, there we go. Angela, I see you now. Woo! So I know there's not too many on here to really ask questions or anything, but
Oh, I got questions.
oh, okay. Come on.
Well, you know, Evita, I think, you know what, I want you to finish your slide, but I think you've hit some absolutely critical points today. And I want you to go through your last slide, and then I just want to kind of comment on a couple of them.
That was my last one.
And then kind of, that was your last one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you said a lot of things, and I hate that I was driving because I wasn't able to really take the notes that I would want to take. And of course, you and I are used to dealing with the insurance field. And what people don't realize is that really is an intangible product, because we're really selling some hope in the event something does happen. But I want to talk a little bit more about the people that have a tangible product. When I look at social media, I see so many different things now. I see so many people selling jewelry. I see so many people selling different kind of health products, different things like that. And I'm also looking at people that need to sell appointments to get a customer. For example, a barber or a hairstylist or a makeup artist or something like that. And I think you've said all of the things that they need to do, but I kind of want to reiterate some things so that they really can grasp it, because I think it is important, one, that you are likable. People got to like you. People buy from the people that they like. Two, to sum up what you said, you really need some courage. There are very few businesses that can put up a shingle and people just go to it. One would be McDonald's. Another would be Starbucks, Harley Davidson. Very, less than 10 can put up a shingle and people just drive to it. Everyone else has to work it.
Yeah.
You have to work it. And it takes courage to do that. Yes, you're going to get some no's. That's fine. But you just mentioned, I think it was on the 5th sale, 80% of the sales were made. Mm-hmm. You have to be diligent. Mm-hmm. You cannot just take no and tuck tail and run and go home and cry. Mm-hmm. And it is very true that salespeople are super competitive. You don't want to play a board game with me either. I have to win. We're not stopping until I win. You know? And you do need to be very passionate. But when you're selling those things like appointments and things like that, I just kind of want to add this. You got to give a person a reason to want to use your service. Mm-hmm. What's in it for them? Now, let's say, for example, you're a makeup artist. I don't really want to come to you if every time I see you, you don't look beautiful. You got to look like your product. Okay? Yeah. If you're a hairstylist, every time you walk out the door, your hair has to be awesome, because you're asking me to trust you to do my hair when you didn't do yours.
Absolutely.
That could be a problem. It's easier, like you said, to sell the shiny things like a car. Yes, those things shine, and people kind of gravitate towards sparkly things. But when you're selling things that people have to spend a lot of money on that are intangible, for example, you're selling products where they do investments. Or here's one, a politician. Mm-hmm. You're selling a politician is selling hope. How are you going to do that? You do need to be genuine and authentic. You do have to give people a reason to want to buy from you. You got to show them the value in what you're talking about. You absolutely need to be a user of your own product. And I think it is so critically important what you said. Chickens don't fly with eagles. You got to be surrounded by the right people. You really do, because you can feed off of each other. Sales can be scary if you don't have the courage. But I'm here to tell you, Evita, like you, 31 years ago when I first started selling in the insurance industry, I've been selling since I was a little kid in Girl Scouts and all of that, junior achievement. It wasn't easy. It was scary. I was tired of people telling me no. That's why I can tell you you shouldn't tuck tail and run and go home and cry, because that was me. I was that person. But I had to break out of that because I had a goal. I was determined. There were some things I needed to be able to accomplish in life. And I was diligent. I know that diligent hands make you rich. Now, I just kept persevering. I just kept going because somebody was going to have to tell me yes. And I finally got my sales technique kind of perfected. So now it's kind of perfected, and I can go in and I'm confident. I can go introduce myself and create a conversation, and I can show them the need. So I think you did a phenomenal job. You created some things. You certainly put thought on someone's mind of how can I perfect my sales technique and how can I go in here and increase my sales, be it customers, be it policies, be it product, whatever it is. I think you hit all of the important points, and I hope that everyone will take what you said and actually put it to practice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And just to highlight, like on what you said, you know, people that are selling services, let's say, you know, you said a hairdresser, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other ones, but, you know, barber,
makeup
like
artist,
that,
barber.
all of that. It's really important that your quality of work and what you're doing, it needs to show in yourself as well, right? And I think that even that I don't have a service that I'm doing for others as far as the physical, but if I come to an appointment, I look all messy and not, you know, they're not going to trust, they're not going to want to do business with me if I look that way. So the level of business that you want to go is the level that you need to make sure that you look, and even how you act. This world is a small world. I don't care where you go. It is crazy. People that are connected with people. So don't ever think you're somewhere where nobody knows you. You always do your best. You shine forth the best you can, because you're always representing the integrity that you're walking in. And I know when it comes with sales, a lot of times it's like, oh, people you can't trust. People, you know what? I've never worked sales like that. I've worked with integrity and honesty as much as I can. And like I said, people can see through that, and that in itself will draw people to you. You know, there is a scripture that says that God, he gives you the power to get wealth. You know, he will give you the power, and all you got to do is walk in who he's created you to be. Not deceptive, not a liar, not, you know, doing dishonest things. But when you walk in that integrity, that's then where that's going to come on you, that power to get that wealth, because now you're walking in his will. So.
I have a question. I have a question in regards to what you just said.
Yes.
In my career field, which is radio, one of the things that we sell is time. We sell commercial time, advertising. Well, this is the thing. Most people, when you talk about selling radio time, commercial time, they want to know, well, how many people listen, or how many, you know, what's your numbers? And to be honest, to go to the integrity point, there's nobody on the planet that can tell you how many people are listening. I don't care what station you are, what methods they devise. Nobody can tell you that, because they have not asked every single person on this planet who and what they're listening to. So for a long time, I would not say that. I wouldn't say the truth. I would just point them to the website or to whatever demographic location information I was given. But it got to a point where I was convicted, and I said, and I started telling people, nobody can tell you that. And I explained the why of it. But I've lost so many major clients because of it, because everybody's numbers driven. They want to know that my commercial is going to be heard by 2 million people or 200,000 people, and I don't know how to combat that mindset.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, do you do any advertising for your radio station? Like, you know.
I write and produce commercials.
Okay. So you write and produce commercials, but it does go on, like the station that it's going to be on. How is that? Is there any advertising, or how do people know about that?
Well, it's major stations that people listen to.
And you just said it, it's major stations. So I would say, as long as, you know, is it AM, FM, or, I mean, if it's major stations, this is what you got to do. You've got to use past clients and people that have had results. You need to start doing testimonials. You need to create this urgency to show people. It's, you know, people have that once they know other people, there's been success with it. Then you need to, you know, also say, hey, you know what? I've had this person, they've advertised, and due to this advertisement, they've won, you know, every month, maybe, I'm just making up stuff, you know, 5 more clients because of this. So you need to start creating some type of an animation to show them, you know, what's going on and how other people have been affected that have used your service or have advertised with you. Do you think that you would have something like that you can generate for them?
I can.
Or are you trying to build from scratch? Is what you're saying?
Well, with my venture that I'm starting, my internet radio station, I will be starting from scratch, but I've been doing radio for over 30 years, so I do have a track record.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can use people that, you know, you've been past clients and how it's worked for them and how you're going to be doing the same thing. You know, you might want to really write on that. And, you know, the second thing you got to understand is anybody that starts from scratch, I don't care what business, is going to take more effort than somebody else who's been in it for years. And this is just that perseverance. This is that pushing through, kind of learning how to already, you know, you need to set up something that you already have, maybe the objectives that you're hearing people coming against you, and you need to start building value of why they should go with you. What makes you different from the other radio stations? What clientele is going to be listening to your radio station versus another one? And you got to make sure whatever clientele you have, that you focus on people that are in those fields that would connect with that clientele. So maybe that might be part of it too. Maybe, you know, if it's a gospel station, you're going to maybe, and I'm not saying that won't connect, but, you know, you're going to a tattoo shop wanting them to advertise. Well, maybe that's not who their prime focal is. Maybe that tattoo shop they don't see the need for that. So you got to make sure too that you're really, you know, honing in on who that audience needs to be. And then also that you have an arsenal full of reasons that brings value to you and why they should be using you.
Okay, thank you.
And Carl, I'll also say this in reference to your question. Like you said, you don't want to fudge numbers. You can tell them how many people your radio broadcast can reach. You can tell them statistically how many people, based upon the audience size, actually can listen to that and what it's in it for them. Because as you're saying now, on your kind of platform, on a live stream radio station, you will have the data for that. You will probably be able to tell how many people are listening into that. When you have open airwaves, that's a little different, because you're right, they can't really capture. They can just tell you what the audience size could be.
Right.
And here's the thing. If, let's say, for example, you're in Lake County. Lake County has about 496 residents. Or people, the population is 496,000. Statistically speaking, with sales, you usually get 10%. Your numbers are usually about 10%. So let's say if you have 496,000 people here, maybe 49,000 would listen. And out of that 49,000, you may have 4,900 that may have a need for your project or for your product. And then maybe 490 people may actually make a call and maybe 49 people may actually get sold. Okay? Now you have to turn that 49 people that get sold into dollars for that customer that's buying that radio time. Did they make more money off of that 49 customers than what they spent for the radio time?
Gotcha.
You've got to make it make sense for the customer. And because 10% is a conservative number. That's a very conservative number. So if you work with that, I think you will be realistic and you will still be a man of integrity.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, that was it for me. That was my biggest hurdle.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. And Evita, I am so appreciative of you. I love listening to salespeople, people in sales. I do. In fact, I went to a sales seminar yesterday online all day. But they had some very, very good points. And sales seems to be the part of business that people don't look forward to the most. And it's just unique that you and I both happen to love it. It's what we love to do. And I will tell anyone that's listening, when you want more money in your business, when you want more customers in your business, it all boils down to one thing: more sales.
Yeah.
You want to increase, you need to increase your sales, which may mean you need to do something different than what you've wanted to do. If you are a business owner and you don't want to do any sales, you either need to find someone that you can pay to do the sales for you, or you need to learn to do sales, or you may need to go get a job, unfortunately, because sales is the key. You have to have customers, and not just people who tell you you have a good product. You have to actually get money in your hand. Just having a good product doesn't mean anything. If you don't have the almighty dollar or PayPal or something where you're getting some revenue, it will not matter. We're trying to help you get to your next, and we're trying to help you do it ethically. Make sure you're tuning in, replay the broadcast. Make sure you're going to check out other seminars. The seminar I went to yesterday was a sales seminar, and it was free. It was absolutely free, and they had some really, really good information being given. So, Evita, I thank you for taking time out of your summer Thursday evening and away from your family to talk to us about this. And before we wrap up, I just want to kind of give everybody an idea about what next week looks like. And I know you guys see me sitting in my car. My grandson's in here. I had to bring him to karate at 6:40. So he's in there in karate class right now, and I'll be sitting out here for an hour. But next week, when we talked about technology, we talked about marketing, we've talked about sales. All of those things are important. It is very important to do those things to get your customer. Doesn't mean anything if you can't keep them. So next week, we're going to be talking about service. Service is a critical part of business. If you don't service your people well, you're going to have to hire several salespeople just to replace what you're losing out the back door. So next week, Kim Hall is going to be coming. She's going to present on service so that we can work on trying to help you keep your customers, to retain them. And I know that this is a pain point for a lot of businesses, because I hear a lot of business owners say this. They're not willing to bend on some things. Of course, they're very emotional. That's their baby. And oftentimes when people call me and they vent to me with problems, I want to say to them, could you have handled that differently? But because of their fragile state at that time, I may not say anything at that time, depending on the relationship. But it is so important to know how to handle situations out the gate. I had a situation that I had to deal with today. I recently had a death in my family and had to deal with the funeral home and some gross errors that were made. And I also understand that no one's perfect. I also understand that it is still a business, and there is still responsibility we as a customer and we as a business owner have. So it's important you tune in because you need to be able to know the difference between those relationships. I know that there's the old saying, the customer is always right. They are until they're wrong. And when they're wrong, there's a way to handle that. You don't just, it's not wise for you to say, you're wrong. There's a way to talk about anything and to be able to bring the customer back so that they continue to be your customer. So next week, 6 o'clock, the B Project will be on with Kim Hall talking about service. Thank you guys so much for jumping on this call. I hope that you guys will have a phenomenal week until next Thursday, and we look forward to seeing you at that time. Go and be great this evening. Bye.
Bye, everyone.